Okay, I've hooked up my fan to the lighter input, and I've got a power station down here, and we're going to see if this works. Got a remote with this one. Let's see if it opens. Look at that. That's always a good feeling. We'll do air out. Oh, nice and quiet. I think it has 4 settings. It might have more, but this one I paid more for because it'll actually reverse the flow of the air. That's going to be nice. So we'll see if I can get the air to come in. And then we'll turn this thing up, see how hard it blows. There's air in. Okay, 4 settings. There's a lot of times I wish I had a fan that would suck the air in after a hot day, and it's turning into a cool night, and it'll just push the cool air right down on top of my bed. This fan also has a rainy mode, so it has a sensor in it that if I left the vent open and it starts to rain, it'll sense that water and automatically shut the vent. So real happy with that. This will get behind the ceiling. I think I'll finish up the ceiling today. Okay, by the way, these third-hand jacks are great. I bought them for painting originally, and they go all the way to ceilings. I can make spray booths out of them, hang plastic from ceilings to the floor with these. Inside a big open room, I can create a big square room with these kind of jacks, especially all by yourself. You can see how I put it up against the ceiling. I'm going to start drilling pilot holes straight up into these steel ceiling beams. And what I connect them with is this type of screw right here. I'll look at the name of it on the box and list it. I'll drill the pilot holes and then sink these. Also do a bunch of measurements for finding the beam where I can't see them. I'll put straight lines on them from where I can see the beam on each side. And then I'll measure a nice distance of spacing these screws up there. I'll make marks for them, and then I'll start drilling the pilot holes. Just mark the center of the beam here that I can see popping out. This one I'm going to countersink because I'm going to end up putting a piece of trim over the top of it. And I won't be using that flat screw on top. gonna use a drywall screw on this. There's that. I may still loosen this and cut a notch out of this panel for the wire that I run behind it. That's gonna work. Had to beat my wall up a little bit, but that's gonna be behind some trim there anyway. Countersink, 2 more here just to hold it here, and because the trim for the fan is going to cover these screws here around. I don't really have to measure where this goes. That's nice. Guess I'll drill some pilot holes first. Go. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's it. Fan's in. 4 watts on second. 11 watts on setting 3. 24 watts for the highest setting 4. So I'm having to get a little creative with the trim that goes from the wall to the ceiling up there. This is a real thing about cargo trailers. The first one I didn't have that much problem with, but the last two, and the bigger they get, it seems the more pronounced some of these issues are. I don't know if you can see it up there. The wall up here actually bows out and then back in, and at the same time the ceiling actually bows down and goes up. Anyway, I had to mess with cutting this ceiling panel out so much, like curving out and in, that I ended up with bigger gaps here than I wanted, to be able to put 1/8 inch panel straight up to that. So anyway, to block that gap, I decided to buy a very small piece of crown molding here and attach it to the same type of trim I'm going to put everywhere else. Stuff that I made out of a 4x8 panel here. And yesterday I went ahead and just glued it to the back with clamps. And then I decided to put in a few screws about every 24 inches just to keep it all in place. But the wood glue seems to be bonding really well. So that is going to be my crown molding. And I just decided to put it on some of the same kind of trim that's going everywhere else to tie it in, number one. And number two, some of those gaps I wouldn't be able to get a screw through this or a nail, I suppose. I want to avoid putting nails so I can always pull this thing apart to access the wires back there. So anyway, there's my own self-manufactured piece of crown molding. I'm going to shoot some footage of me prepping this wood and staining it. And probably in an hour or two I'll come out and polyurethane it all. Then I'm going to fit it to the ceiling, drill the holes, and go ahead and try and install this today all around the top and front. So that's the plan. Just give it a scuff sand, and then some of the few imperfections that I'll take out of it, some dings and some of the grain that's just still standing up. Alright, so I already did put one coat of water-based polyurethane on these. And it only takes me like 10-15 minutes to do what I have here. I'll probably put 3 coats on. So I think I'll put one more coat. They're feeling pretty smooth. Between the second and third coat, I'll give it a scuff sand and then put the final coat on. Just using a Minwax water-based clear satin. I'm gonna finish the trim on the ceiling, put the long strip here between the back and the fan, and then one that'll go straight across here next to the fan. It'll just cover everything the way I put this up here, so I should finish that today. So I'm going up into the steel here. Okay, looking good there. Okay, I've marked some spots out on the ceiling to make sure this goes straight down the center. It won't necessarily cover this seam exactly in the center, but it doesn't matter as long as it covers all those seams up there. Well, that'll get me my first few in.